Once again, thank you everybody for joining. We'll just get started with quick intros. So I am Ritesh Shah. I live in Michigan. By trade, I'm a Gen AI architect. At ServiceNow, I work with customers like you all on your AI journeys. Prior to that, I worked at AWS as a Gen AI specialist. So I've been in the field for a little bit. I'm happy to share some of my insights with you all today. Now, I'm not the smartest person here, so I have three others who are way more smarter. And I'll start with TJ, my esteemed partner at ServiceNow.
Thanks, Ritesh. You're modest. You have a big brain for sure. My name is TJ Lincoln. I'm also a Gen AI architect. Ritesh and I are on the same team, the AI COE, covering customer excellence, so helping customers to adopt our Now Assist capabilities. I also, like Ritesh, come from AWS, where I helped customers from a variety of industries, healthcare, and financial services to adopt Gen AI capabilities. Yeah, it's great to be here. And Sunil, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sunil Toyani from Eaton. I manage the ServiceNow product over at the company and our strategic use of it. And I'll leave it to Rick Noble.
All right. I'm Rick Noble, and yeah, I manage the development team. We have a set of developers that work on all of these things, and I'll go with the same remark Ritesh made. They're much smarter than I am, but yeah, we'll continue from there.
It's a close call between all of us.
I am super thankful for both of you to join. You were really our special guest today. And, we constantly hear that customers want to hear from customers. And that's why you guys are going to do amazing today. Awesome. I have to do this safe harbor. We're going to give you realities of life, but there will be some forward-looking statements. So we don't want you to make any purchasing decisions based on those forward-looking statements. This webinar is part of a series called as Live on ServiceNow. We really hope you get value from today. And if you like what you see today and want to do more of these, you can scan the QR code for the schedule for future. The link will also has been pasted on the chat, so feel free to grab it. I promise the last housekeeping slide before we get to the content. And I promise, I think this is more important. So we love a lot of questions. Sunil and Rick are here from Eaton, so feel free to ask them as much as you can. We'll try our best to answer them live. If we cannot, we'll try to follow up even after. For your questions, please use the Q&A in the Zoom. Do not put it on chat, just put it in Q&A so we all have it consolidated and we can respond either live or we could type in the text. If you're like me and you like to take screenshots of what you see, don't worry, this will all be shared. It'll be publicly available, so don't freak out about taking screenshots or notes. And we ask you for a favor. We like to get feedback so that we make these webinars more meaningful. For example, one of the feedback we received last time was bring a real customer story. And so here we have Eaton here to talk about their story. So if you have feedback like that, please fill out that survey so we can make these webinars even better. And that's it. We'll do one poll just to see where you are all at. AI Agents is a little loaded, so you'll see a poll that you can answer now. I'll be honest, like I read a couple white papers, I've done lots of AI agents, and I still don't think I understand it. And everybody has different understanding of this, so we just want to see where you're at, and so we can adjust our content. I'm seeing a lot of somewhat familiar, heard about them, and a very few not familiar at all. Yeah, everybody's at least heard about them. Everybody talks about AI agents. If you have somebody like above somewhat familiar, and if you want to share insights, please feel free to. Like, there is nothing stopping you. We are all here to learn together. Awesome. I'm going to end the poll. We have a good pulse. And I think we looked at the results. I'm going to just go back in just of time. Thank you all. just setting the stage. As we said, Agents is loaded, and we saw like you're somewhat familiar, maybe heard about them. So TJ is going to do a nice job demystifying AI agents. And then we'll talk about the realities of life. The best part of this webinar, we'll do a conversation with Eaton, hear about their journey and their story and how they went about it. Rick has promised to do a demo. He's going to show a live AI agent in their environment. Demos don't always work, so we're keeping the fingers crossed, but we're hoping it will work. We want to wrap it up with some lessons learned. So this is the number one question I get from all customers, like, okay, this is all fantastic and it's interesting, but how do we make it real? Like, what is the path to success? So Eaton will share some of their secrets, what they learned. That way you can use that when you're planning your AI journeys. And then I promise we'll keep like 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes at the end for questions that we do not ask or answer along the way. That way you get some time to get your questions answered. And Sunil loves to answer questions, right, Sunil?
Yes, I love questions and answers, especially interactiveness, so you guys can see how to start your journey or continue.
Awesome. Perfect. All righty, TJ.
All right, we want to take a step back and start to understand what an AI agent is, and then we'll dig into specifically how to adopt an AI agent within the ServiceNow AI platform. So our AI agents use this pattern within generative AI called REACT. It stands for reasoning and action. So reasoning means that they're goal-oriented. It understands the ask which a user is requesting of the AI agent and executes specific tasks to reach a specific objective. And it kind of, when I say reason, it understands what the request is, it has access to tools, and it's going to determine how to invoke those tools on an as-needed basis. So it can do so semi-autonomously. So within the ServiceNow platform, you have the ability to have supervised agents, which is going to request permission from the end user in order to execute those tasks, or it's going to have fully autonomous agents. And then collaboration has the ability to go ahead and interact with agents both inside the platform as well as, and this is under safe harbor disclosure, but in the future, the ability to interact with agents even outside of the platform as well. Next slide, Ritesh. This is a common question that we get from a lot of customers is what's the difference between a workflow and an AI agent? And these, I would say, are on two extreme ends of the spectrum, but there is room in the middle. There's room in the middle for workflows which are augmented with assistive generative AI or generative AI capabilities inside the platform. We call those skills, Gen AI powered skills, and you can have a variety of out-of-the-box skills, or you could create your own. But a workflow is generally predefined. So you give it a particular input, it goes ahead through a subflow or an action or a script, and we'll go ahead and query a table and give you a predefined output. And it's static, and these queries are deterministic. So you can put the same kinds of parameters into them and expect the same results out of them. They're also tuned for speed. They can give you the answer at the speed in which a database gives you an answer back, or the database underlying the platform gives you back the answer to that query. And it's cost effective. A subflow or action or a script doesn't cost you necessarily anything within the platform. AI agents on the extreme other end of the spectrum, when you're looking at these on that spectrum of deterministic on the workflow side and slightly more probabilistic and non-deterministic on the AI agent side, are going to have that real-time reasoning and decision-making process built into them. So if you have a 10-step procedure, and sometimes steps 1 through 5, sometimes steps 6 through 7, sometimes steps 9 and 10 are invoked, and maybe they're invoked in slightly different orders. That might be a good use case where you're going to integrate AI agents and have a workflow as a tool which can be invoked as needed in the order that the AI agent deems necessary. Has that automation or autonomy and reasoning built into it to determine which tools it has access to and can invoke those ad hoc. Well, that makes it really powerful for more complex tasks where if you were to work that into a workflow, it would become quite the eye chart of if-then statements and kind of this thing which is really, really difficult to manage. And then again, somewhere in the middle, you have our assistive generative AI capabilities, out-of-the-box skills, custom skills, which you can create with a Now Assist skill kit, or even the ability to chain prompts together. And those can operate as tools into AI agents as well. Next slide, Ritesh.
Before we go next, Rick, I might want to just put you on spot. I remember our first conversation we had about AI agents, and you said, oh my gosh, like we've not even implemented these Now Assist skills, and are we already obsolete with AI agents? So share your perspective, like what you've learned, and share with the group.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, when Ritesh was talking to me about that, our team, we barely got anything with the generative AI going, and we just deployed it. We were just using what was out of the box, and people were like, "Oh, we need to get these." But then I started looking at the agentic stuff, and it had jumped to another level that it's like, why would I even use these skills? I don't even know. And again, just like everybody, everything's been pretty new to all of us with the whole AI, when to use what. So yeah, I guess my biggest thing was all of the stuff that we're doing in the skills can be done with the AI agent, right? So why would we use this skill? And we did find reasons to do that. You shared with us we get that skill fine-tuned, it's just going to give a generative information, and then the agent can use it, and we can continue to do that and build those skills.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for that. And I think TJ will talk about how you can use skills as inputs or tools in agent cells, not steal his thunder.
And I think one of the big decision points is AI agents sometimes can take some time in order to deliver a result. So if you need a more immediate response, a workflow or a workflow which is assisted by generative AI is going to give you a much quicker response. Inside of places like the service operations workspace or the CSM configurable portal, places like that.
Awesome. I think now we're ready to move on to the next one, right, TJ?
Yeah. So this talks a little bit about some constructs of AI agents, which is helpful to get a full understanding for how they work. So an agentic workflow, in previous versions of the platform, you may have seen this referred to as an agentic use case, but it's the overall business problem which you're trying to solve. So if we're talking about who, what, where, when, why, and how, this would be the why. Why are you invoking this AI agent to complete, what job inside of your instance for what business purpose? Then there's a trigger. So a trigger can be either user or machine or event generated. So it can respond to record creation to kick off an agentic workflow. And it's given, for instance, a run as, so you can run it as the requester or the fulfiller, something like that, or the user can invoke it from either the Now Assist panel or virtual agent. The AI orchestrator is how are we going to get this work done inside of the environment? So this is that reasoning and action kind of engine. It's going to plan the steps that it needs to take, and then it's going to lead and delegate those tasks to a fleet of AI agents. So the fleet of AI agents are going to somewhat be your worker bees. They're going to be the who performs the specific tasks in order to achieve that use case. So an AI agent will use tools, and those tools can be, click forward one more time, Ritesh. Those tools can be how the AI agent interacts with other entities within the ecosystem. So these could be generative AI powered skills. These can be subflows or actions. These can be scripts. You can use, you can interrogate your knowledge using search. You can go ahead and now integrate it with knowledge graph or web search or file upload. So a variety of tools which you can add to your AI agent. So if you like to think about this in terms of an analogy, an agentic workflow, let's say you're building a house. An agentic workflow is going to be triggered by you as the home buyer going ahead and signing a purchase and sales agreement. The AI Agent Orchestrator might be a general contractor. That general contractor is going to have subcontractors for things like the foundation, rough carpentry, finish carpentry, plumbing, electricity. There's probably a drywall guy, a cabinetry person, right? And then all of those subcontractors are going to use tools. They're going to use, hammer and, they're going to use a cement mixer. They're going to use a shovel to go ahead and build your house. So the subcontractors are the AI agents who use tools to go ahead and build the house.
I remember a story that you shared with me, Rick. You were at a dinner table. I don't know if it was with Sunil. I don't think you like to go out for dinner with Sunil, but you were with your family, I think.
Okay.
And you were getting like poop, 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 tickets. Like, what's going on? Like 9, 10, 12 tickets. And you were distracted. And you had that aha moment. I wish I had an AI agent. Let's just share that story.
Okay, that's what we're okay. Yeah, because we were all out, yeah, and I just kept getting messages on all these tickets that kept coming in, and I'm like, what is going on? I wish I could just, the agent would come up and just tell me, hey, we've got a trend of tickets coming in, or is there an issue going on that I need to know about? Because, honestly, I think we got like 15 tickets in just that moment. So I know, is it something I need to react to right away, or do I need to go out and, make a call or something, skip my dinner? But yeah, that I do remember that. Yeah. So hopefully we can get that agent that will tell me, what's the action that's going on right now, right? What we got a whole bunch of tickets coming in, but yeah, that was a key one.
It has stuck with me, and I use it with a lot. I don't mention you guys, but now I can, maybe with this is public information. But a lot of it resonates with a lot of customers, so that's why I thought it would be meaningful for you guys to share it here. Awesome. TJ, back to you.
Excellent. So wanted to cover off some updates to AI agents, which have happened since the May 2025 release. I mentioned the ability to integrate knowledge graph into the AI agent as a tool. So think about the ability to traverse this knowledge graph and find, where individual or user is located, to customize, personalized responses based upon their geographic location or their job level, something of that nature. Previous to this release, AI Agents was mostly geared towards the fulfiller persona inside of places like the Now Assist panel or via that machine-generated trigger based upon an event in the environment. But now we have the ability to expose those through virtual agent. There's an important distinction to make about that. When you're publishing AI agents to virtual agent, or when you're publishing AI agents to a subflow or to an action, you can publish the agent, but not quite yet the agentic workflow as of this time. And then also, if individuals are viewing this live or even the recording out of the APAC region, the support to use the Now LLM as an option for the orchestrator might be most relevant to you. Previously, this was exclusively OpenAI GPT-4o, but the options to host GPT-4o out of the Asia Pacific region were lacking. So now the ability to use the Now LM in that orchestrator function opens up our customers in the Asia Pacific region and gives them the ability to use our first-party LLM as that orchestrator and adopt AI agents more easily. Next slide. Here's just a brief overview of the agentic workflows, which we've published out of the box. So you can see that a number of them are related to specific modules. For instance, resolve policy for tuition reimbursement is going to be HRSD specific skill or agent, AI agent that we ship with the Now Assist for HRSD module. Triage cases is going to be a CRM specific AI agent. There's also platform specific cases AI agents and other AI agents for a variety of our modules, from strategic portfolio management to SIR. But what we really want to do here is dig into one of these specific agents, the resolve request agent, and dive a little bit deep and unpack how that particular agent works, because that's one of the ones that really piqued the interest of the Eaton team. Next slide.
Quickly wanted to answer, will there be a change for AI agent for change management? GN, if you can just explain the specifics, what about change management, and we can help answer if there is an out-of-the-box agent for it.
So the automated request fulfillment agent is a conversational AI agent exposed through virtual agent. You could also expose it through the Now Assist panel. You could have a user open up a request, and then it triages it in the background and sends the employee a notification or a follow-up email. Really, the value here is either deflecting requests away from the help desk, or allowing, depending again over the channel by which you choose to publish this agent, or deflecting and giving that employee the ability to self-service those IT requests. So if you're thinking about KPIs, which you can go ahead and start to measure in order to see if this is being beneficial and driving value in your organization, think about reducing the number of IT requests fulfilled manually as opposed to fulfilled through a catalog item or through an AI agent. Next slide. And the way we start to think about this is calculating current state. So let's say that this is purely illustrative. It doesn't relate back to any particular customer or another, but is some internal benchmarking which ServiceNow has done. Let's say illustratively you had 250,000 requests inside of your your instance annually, and 60% of those requests are escalated or handled by your help desk team. Let's say that each one of those takes about a half an hour, and 100% of those that are handled by the agent requires that 30 minutes times the hourly rate for an agent of, again, illustrative numbers, industry averages, $25 an hour equals approximately $1.875 million annually that those 60% of 250,000 incidences are costing to go ahead and triage through your help desk. So if your baseline costs are 1.875 and you're able to drive out a 10% improvement, then your annual value realized is about 187,500, and that frees up about 7,500 hours worth of productivity for your agents to go ahead and work on more complex high-value requests or high-value incidences inside of your company. If we're breaking this down further, you have the AI Agent Orchestrator. You have your AI Agent Orchestrator, your Agentic Workflows going to be that software request fulfillment, and it's going to delegate tasks down into your team of agents. So you're going to have, let's say, a next best action agent. It's going to understand the request, go ahead and search for knowledge articles which call out policies for this particular user based upon their job level. Maybe you get that job level from your knowledge graph tool, and you're going to go ahead and look for maybe other individuals who have requested a similar software title and see exactly what they were deployed. Then you can go ahead and rationalize that with the approved software identifier agent to go ahead and see which, based upon your catalog items and your software data model, which pieces of software is that user entitled to? Is it a standard piece of software? Is it non-standard? Maybe you want to go ahead and then now you've made a determination about whether the user is entitled to the software based upon their job level, whether that software is available. Now you need to check whether a license is available. Well, you could have another agent that goes ahead and looks through your license key library and goes ahead and sees whether an available license exists for the requested piece of software, or whether you need to open up a purchase order or purchase request and order that externally. If that license is available, maybe you want to go ahead and add that user to an AD group. Maybe that AD group goes ahead and gives that user access to that license, or even pushes that software title to that end user. And then at the end, you have this summarization agent or notification agent, which goes ahead and has an understanding of all of the actions taken and can go ahead and write a nice email or a nice response back inside a virtual agent, letting the user know that the license has been provided to them and next steps for how they can go ahead and access that software title locally to their individual workstation. We talked about some of the value to gain here on the left-hand side, faster identification and provisioning of software, being able to publish those capabilities into virtual agent and have employees self-service. And if you're using it as an assistant to a human agent, reduce mean time to resolution, and of course, better compliance and management of software against your licensing agreements.
And I think Rick will, before Rick shows the best part, like a live demo, I just want to let up lots of questions around out-of-the-box agents. So I want to there are like about 3-4 questions on that. So somebody asked about change agents. So yes, we have a bunch of change. Let me make this bigger. And this will be shared as follow-up on the community, so don't worry about it, and it's being recorded. So we have a bunch of change management AI agents, the one for risk and impact as well. So yes, I think we have what you're looking for, but I always recommend test it in your environment to make sure it works. A couple of the caveats, you have to be on the right instance version. So this is for Yokohama patch 3. So you have to have the right instance, right plugins or store apps, and then you have to be entitled to using them. There were other questions around agile or service portfolio management. So yes, we have service portfolio management AI agents, not only within ServiceNow, but we integrate with the Jiras of the world or smart sheets of the world. So if you have other tools that you work with for your agile and safe, we have agents for those as well. There were questions around agents for GRC or risk management. And yes, we have, let me just find where they are.
One important thing to note is that these out-of-the-box agents are designed as a starting point only. We fully anticipate that customers will go ahead and copy or clone these agents and customize them to match the configurations and customizations that you have created in your instance to meet your individual workflows.
So hopefully that gives you a flavor. We will share this. There's a ton of agents out of the box, 1,000, I think. Don't quote me on a number, but there are a ton. So feel free to explore. Rick, if the pressure is not building up yet, let's go for the
It's not,
demo.
but I did just a comment on this too, just for everybody to, we have gone through trying to make our agents, trying to make our, trying to learn it so that we do the customization. But what we have found at times is we start and then we go look and it's already there, right? And we want to make sure you look to see first, and that it's just quicker and easier for us. So, but and on the agile part, just gotta let you guys know, I'm looking for this agent that's going to go through and help us process stories where we can meet like this, talk about things, and then go, hey, can you take that recording and just make us all of our stories and then estimate them out? We're my team's looking to that. So
Love that, Rick. Thank you for sharing that. Let's go to the demo.
just find my share button here.
While Rick's bringing that up, there was one person who asked if we maintain the agents to ensure they continue working with the patching. Yes, for any of the out-of-the-box agents, we do. For anything that you've cloned and copied, as we just talked about, and customized, that will obviously deviate away from the out-of-the-box capabilities. So, we fully anticipate that in many cases that will be required. So those updates would not therefore be reflected in your custom agent.
Okay, is my screen shared?
Yes, we can
Yes.
see it.
Okay. All right, so I have brought up our agent here, and we want to do a software request. Let's spell it right. And we are just going to use Rick's software, making that one up.
So I'll talk a little in the background about why we came up with this. We had people asking for software. They didn't know what our standards were, or sometimes they were coming based on capabilities. Sometimes they were coming and asking for software we don't allow. And it was complex that if it could find it or it couldn't find it, and where do they go and what do they do? And some of the things we started coming back with were, how do we make it a little easier for them that they ask for something based on capability or title, and if it's not found, it'll start the process for asking for the information for a new piece of software, and how do we get the new capabilities or business requirements and gather that information and process that all, so people don't have to go and know, well, I can't find it, or based on capability looking for stuff, or title, or just being able to say, I don't know what I need some help. We would even have an option for people to have a ticket entered and come back and we follow up with them. So if you scroll down to the bottom, Rick, you'll see the last
Yeah,
one is software request.
and just let everybody know, demos are fun with AI
Yeah,
because,
all the way down, software request, start.
yeah, it never actually answers the same thing twice, the same. Okay, so here we go.
And that's not just for demo, that's how AI is. We have to
Yeah.
just test for relevance that it's coming back with something relevant.
All right.
So yes, no, do you know the name of your software?
Oh yeah. Sorry, thanks. I was just gonna type in the name.
And then it'll ask you name of software. If you had said no, it'll ask you for what capabilities are you looking for on your software, and it'll help you search our standards to see what we have matching. Now it's checking, do we have this, and is there something to order it? And if it cannot find it, then it gives you the option to continue with I need more help, and it'll start submitting the process for a new standard or request for a new software.
Key features. So we can put a couple that like diagramming. I'm just gonna put one.
Yep.
Okay.
So it said we have some diagramming software that you might find helpful, even though you're trying to request some new software. So they're trying to recommend to use these. And if you say, I need more help, and continue, then it's gonna ask, okay, what PC is this for? And it'll ask a couple more questions to gather the information we need for processing that new software and trying to get a review and make it a standard or available in our catalog. So some of the questions are gathering information to create software models. And the goal is we can then automate the software model being created in the background and then have the ability after it gets approved to get published automatically to the catalog. So it's a simple automated process for onboarding new software. We built this because our response time used to be over like 2 months for a new software because it would have security reviews and assessments and other things that would happen in the background. And how do we make this faster and bring the time down so we can get those models created immediately and get those reviews done within 7 days to get this out faster point.
Desktop software.
Yeah, so this is helping route where the
Or-
approval goes to.
For simulation products. And, okay.
So each of these have different approval areas in the company and reviews. And then there's a bunch of more questions. They'll continue down. There you go.
Okay.
Looks good. And it's all set. It's put in for review and we were able to find a piece of software that we didn't have and request it.
Impressive. While you're doing that, there's a question like people want to understand if this is like a pre-built conversation in VA or virtual
So
agent.
this was a couple of things. We started with, and it's something which we talked about, TJ did a little bit, and we came back to, okay, how do we improve this process? And then we started when we were talking back with TJ and you, Ritesh, a while back, was, well, we know some things are pre-built and some things are generative where we go and we summarize some stuff. And then there's some things where we have to go gather some information from websites and vendors and put it together. So we started to build, well, what tools are the right tools to do this? And some things where we connect to our software models to know what we have as standards and not. Then we built a topic conversation for virtual agent to wrap it all in. And then we had some generative that summarizes. And then we have some AI agents that can help with some of it in the process. And the goal is to wrap all of this together and give the best experience. So when we think about it, AI agents are not the solution to everything. It's sometimes we need some strict data, we need a workflow, we need some generative, and then some AI agents to help, and we wrap it all together somehow to give that best experience. But when we started at first with you and TJ, we were like, okay, so how do we do everything with AI agents? And it was like, well, that's not the right idea. As we started going deeper into it, it was more learning, well, when do you use AI agents? When do you use generative AI? And when do you use your other tools on the platform to get that best experience? Because if we just use AI agents, it's pretty costly, it's time consuming, and sometimes AI agents are going to give different responses if you change words by moving them around slightly and things, compared to the generative and the workflows are going to be more consistent and work straightforward every time. So to get that better experience and get that result we're always looking for, we use a mix of everything like a recipe.
Really well said, Sunil. So, this is getting really interesting, and I see a lot of other questions that have still not been answered, but we only have 15 minutes. And so we will get back to your questions as a follow-up after this webinar. But if everybody's okay, I would like to use the 15 minutes to kind of hear a little bit more about Eaton's story. So Sunil, this all sounds flashy and really nice, but I'm sure you had challenges. So why don't you tell us about your challenges and how did you overcome them?
Okay, so our first problem was, how do we get funding for this and a business case? And it's going to cost money. And everyone's like, well, what are you going to be able to provide to us? And how fast can we get a return on it? And that was a struggle with it being so new. How do we do that? So some of the things we started planning for this 2 years ago, and we noticed conversations for the catalog items we have not built them out, and we were going to start hiring some people to build them and work full time on it. Some of the things we decided strategically were, let's hold off. The AI is coming, the generative and the Now Assist, and it's going to be able to make all our catalog items conversational. So the fact that we didn't hire a team to start building those and maintaining those conversations was our first business case and our first return on the investment. And we were able to say 1,000 catalog items were able to become conversational. Now, good or bad, we started to learn not every catalog item should be conversational. When you have 100 questions, those are not good conversational ones to have. When you have things 5 to 7 or under 10 questions, those are easy and very good to have as conversations. So, but that was our first investment into it. And we said, well, then we'll work on the generative skills, and we know the AI agents are coming, and we can work on trying to get more value out of it. We know there's so much potential, but we just didn't know how to justify it yet in the beginning for our business case. And we went for a simple use case of all the work to do this conversational with the virtual agent was where we got our biggest value out of it and return. So once we got that done, then we were able to say, okay, now let's deploy the generative ones for the fulfillers. And we're starting down the path where fulfillers are using it. And we struggle a little bit with adoption. How do we get people to use it more? And some are like, I don't need to summarize it. And they just put in 2 words in their tickets. And we struggled with that a bit and said, well, we need more information in your tickets. Why do we need more information? Well, if you put more information, we have a way to run a skill to say, generate a knowledge article and put that out there for next time. And then with the virtual agent on the Employee Center, they're able to search those knowledge articles. And if you have instructions for a user that says, reboot the PC or do this or anything, they'll get that information right away when they search with the virtual agent. So part of it was getting that process down and getting people to understand this is more than just using the AI for one use case for your ticket, but it's building knowledge and deflection and building this all the way around. So we still struggle with some adoption. We have people that I refuse to use it. I know my process. I'll just type in the least amount of words. And then we have people that are all in making like knowledge articles, like 20 a week, and deflecting tickets and driving things. So we see that is something where you're going to have to work on making sure people understand the value from it and how they can contribute and use it to get the most out of it. If they don't understand it, they struggle a bit and it goes a little slower, and you're going to have to understand, well, why are we not getting it? We're not getting enough data. Our data quality is not good, and things like that for a lot of the tickets.
So Sunil, Jason, you have a lot of great questions. I'm going to pick one for Eaton. So
Yeah.
you touched a little bit about incident data quality and knowledge and stuff like that, but he wants to know like specifics about like what were the prerequisites or foundational data items, perfect CMDB, deep knowledge base.
So for things we had more knowledge on specifically, we saw it behave better for self-service and answering questions and guiding. Things where there wasn't enough knowledge, we ended up running into they can't find it, they give something else, or there might be a lack of being able to provide it. So to help with this, we've been encouraging more knowledge getting published. We're also investigating the SharePoint connector that allows us to point to specific SharePoint sites and not all our SharePoint sites to digest that into the virtual agent and the AI so that it can answer questions from there. So also ServiceNow started introducing documents that could be digested instead of being, when they're attached, they were just not being searched or digested by the AI. Now they are. So the ability of, we had so many knowledge articles with attachments that actually is getting digested and done. And some of the integrations from the knowledge digestion and summarization for users and helping came from, they used to have one response for one reference source. Now they're taking 2 to 3 reference sources or multi and responding a summarization of those. This was great for us, step forward, but it also made us think, and we came across one knowledge article that said, identity management, this is, and all this stuff on it. And then at the bottom, it says, for any incidents, please escalate to XYZ person. And XYZ started getting lots of escalations for non-identity incidents. And he was like, why? Well, the fragment of a statement in there was picked up by AI, and it said, well, this is where all incidents get escalated. And we started to realize, well, sometimes we have to look at the quality of what we're writing or review it and adjust. We have to come back and write, for all identity management incidents, you escalate to XYZ. And then we wrote another article for general escalations on any incidents you have, please contact our service desk, and here's the number and the process. And we were able to make that show up now because we published that article and we clarified the other article so it would work better with the AI. So these are things that we ran into and challenges, and we understand that the more we used to write these things, the better we would get responses to them.
So thank you, Sunil. That was super helpful. You shared two important things. One was focus on ROI and outcomes and not just science experiments up front. That was a right vision to have. Second, you touched upon the foundations. So data, knowledge, and everything like junk in, junk out basically is very true. I think the third important thing is you are investing a lot of time in building your capabilities and skills internally. And you call that out up front, but tell us how you're doing that, and what would you like to share with the group here?
So since it was new and we want to accelerate and gain value fast and try to go in and get the most from it, we went back to ServiceNow, and they have some programs that we are partnering with our COE, Center of Excellence team here. Ritesh and TJ, they were able to come on site with us And we were able to deep dive into creating some first AI agents and learning the best practices and not, and diving from there. And we also have another program that we're working with ServiceNow developers directly, where we've been meeting over the last 3 to 5 months, where we meet every week and we give them our challenges we're having, and they're helping us work through how do we get this AI deployed in our environment, and they're helping us develop certain solutions, which the software one you saw was one of the early ones we started back in January, and we were able to deploy to our production environment and get users to be able to use it. And they did about 4 different use cases so far with us, where we were able to develop some things on AI specifically for us and get those deployed in our company to accelerate our time to value on it.
I think the key is that you are investing your team to learn along the way so you can sustain and scale, which is powerful because AI is new to everybody and we all have to learn. I'll touch, like, I know we're running, I think people would love to listen a little bit more, but I'll touch one more thing. So we had this conversation yesterday that your risk in governance teams and your AI Center of Excellence is, you know, it's getting active now. So speed to innovation, but also we don't want to sacrifice security and governance and risk. So how are you thinking about that?
So it's been 2 years now, we have an AI funnel that collects all AI ideas in our company. And we have an AI governance board, and they do risk review and security review of everything that comes through there and all the systems. So we were driving aggressively AI, not only ServiceNow. We have over 35 different AIs from different companies and sources in our company that we have deployed, and we're driving even more aggressively. How can we drive more? And with the process we set up, we're reviewing and driving that. Some of the things we're starting to see is the volume is increasing drastically, and we're even starting to look at the newest thing, ServiceNow released AI Control Tower, because it is very structured very well for the assessments for risk and for security. And we have them. They're a little loose right now. And we're trying to see how do we get that tighter and stronger process to document it, know it, have it clear what's approved and not, and especially with agent coming up. So we can talk about AI agents communicating. How do we make sure we have the right controls? So this is something we're reviewing, and we're trying to do a POC and see if we can adopt or at least adjust our process to handle that.
Awesome. Let's just, if I will share one last thing, let's just wrap it up for the group here. So now, like, just summarize.
Yeah, so these are some of the takeaways. So return on investment was one of our big things we had to define before we can go anywhere. The cost reduction. So we balanced that out in the beginning, and then we said we can get more cost reduction as we progress with more deployments and more use cases. So enhanced experience was a huge thing that brought forward and got our approval, was that virtual agent, the deflection, the actual ability to make everything conversational and be able to have more deflection right off search and from the virtual agent. So things that we had trouble with. So continuous evolutions, frequent updates were a little troublesome, that we were getting updates every like 10 days, and one thing wasn't working and then it was working, and things were a little tough in the beginning. Now it's getting a little more stable, and we're starting to see things monthly iterations. But you can see, like we were just showing all those AI agents, patch 3 on Yokohama you have to have, which was released in May. And then patch 4 just came out. And how do we start testing those and staying is a struggle, and something which we're driving. How do we test faster and get better at deploying those to stay up to date? So those are the things we're seeing. Capabilities keep improving. Agents we built are now coming out of the box. Some of the agents that are coming are asking for, we ask for certain fields required on certain forms and things like that. So we can't use those out-of-box ones, as TJ said, and those are a good starting point. We'll have to copy those, or we start saying, well, do we really need that field required? Can we say no? Let's make it optional and start using the out-of-the-box agents. So these are the things we're driving through and with continuous evolution. Data quality and agents, the better quality we have and more data we have, that we see the quality of the agent is improving. Things we're noticing are when there's a lack of data or there's not good quality data or it's incomplete statements, as we talked about earlier, we're running into those. So how do we do our knowledge ownership accountability and how do we make sure our data is good? This is one of the reasons we don't open up all our SharePoint sites. Some of them go back 10 years with data. What is the data and how are we reviewing it and maintaining it? So knowledge process is very key here. Every 6 months or a year, you keep reviewing it and certifying it's good. And that's helping a lot. The last was the ServiceNow partnership. So this is where we worked with the 2 programs. So we worked with the COE team, which is here. And we also are working with the AI Solution Success team for those 4 other solutions they helped us build and drive those use cases of where do we see the gain and help us accelerate getting some AI out in our environments. And we were able to get some of those out and big success with users seeing an experience change.
Awesome. Thank you. I think we can keep going, but I'm getting a little nudge that we have to be respectful of everybody's time. And I know there are a bunch of questions. We will get to them as a follow-up on the community with the recording and slides. We have session 2 for this. If you missed it at Knowledge 25, I highly recommend you watch this webinar. Look at the session 2. That might be pretty useful for you. And then if you need more help from our customer success org, here are some helpful resources. You can reach out to your account team and we should be able to help you. With that, thank you, everybody. And thank you, Eaton team. It was super helpful to have you here today.
Yeah, it was our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thanks. Bye.